Welcome, this is Esther at Stampin' Star Creations with the Stamp Around UK crew who are doing a video hop, so be sure to follow the links below. This month's theme was monochromatic, one of my favourite themes, and something I'm really getting into at the moment is scrappy cards and trying to use up that designer series paper that we so often love and hug and don't do anything with. So quite often we're left over with scraps and strips, so I'm using these today, which I've collected, to just tape down onto some card that I've got. This is just some scrap card that I've got, nothing too special, covering it in tear and tape because the glue remains sticky and it's not too sticky for you to just adhere the strips and pieces to. I start with the corner and a nice long piece. I try and have two straight edges so that it's easier for when it comes to trimming this down later. Now I try not to take too long about deciding where I'm going to place things, just have contrasting colours and just going for it. This is slightly easier because I am doing black and white. So even the tiniest of strips, look, will fit down the edge there. Now you might feel that this is very planned and they all fit very neatly, but I'll show you in a minute what happens when they don't fit neatly and what you can do. So here's a piece for example. I just want to cut this piece down to fit in that gap. Use my nail just to give it a dent and I just trim it down. Nothing too scientific, just dent it with my nail and it's good enough for me to fit into that slot. So just grabbing out small pieces, I found that the smaller pieces fill the page better. I made one of these recently with larger pieces and I ended up going back over it, filling it with smaller pieces, because by the time you cut this larger sheet down, you want it to have a lot more detail. So just coming to the end now and just finishing off this scrappy piece of patchwork with the papers. And as you can see, if you turn it over, our Stampin' Up pages are double-sided. So because I've got those two lovely straight edges that I told you about earlier, I can just pop this in my trimmer and cut off the excess, and I have plenty of little scraps to make yet another scrappy layout. And here's the finished article as far as this is concerned. So I'm going to cut these down into two and we're going to mat and layer these a bit later. Just coming in to check if there are any loose pieces that need sticking down. Coming in with a new delicate dahlias or delicate dahlias, depending what country you're from. I'm using this on my Stamparatus to stamp some black images, outline images with this stamp set. It is a free stamp set with a £90 purchase from the beginning of August 2021 for a limited period during the celebration time. So if you love this, be sure to get your hands on it. It comes with a filler stamp also, but for this particular project I'm just using the outline. Fussy cutting around the petals, and I did this for each flower, and then you can see the gorgeous detail on the outline. Bringing in my embossing textured folder, and I'm just going to run this through my stamp and emboss machine. Now you can't really see much detail at the moment, so I'm just lightly rubbing over it with some black memento ink, and this helps to bring out all the detail of that embossing folder. As you can see, if the dahlias went straight on, they'd get a bit lost, so I am using some old DSP on the left with Bumblebee and some new In Symmetry Designer Series paper with a lovely flirty flamingo. I had this piece of polka dot tulle ribbon hanging around and it's just the one last piece, so I'm cutting it in half and I'm going to get it used up on my project today. I'm sure a lot of us have a lovely retired ribbon and papers that can be used up, so don't be scared to get it used up. Bringing in some flirty flamingo and just using my aqua brush to splatter on some dots just so that the paper has got a hint of the colour, and I was debating whether to colour flowers in or whether just to leave them black and white, but I've decided just to add a touch of colour, didn't want to overdo it. In the same stamp set it's got this lovely sentiment, thank you kindly, and I'm using the Many Messages die because you can just fit one shape in, you don't have to cut out all the shapes, and this fitted perfectly for my sentiments. So I've gone ahead and cut out a matte layer of the flirty flamingo, and then I'm just going to layer these up and start sticking it all down. Tucking the ribbon behind, making sure there's space behind the dahlia and adding that with dimensionals. Then sticking in the sentiment, and I'm going to bring this onto some basic white cardstock, and this just gives a really nice polished finish. And then the same again with the other card. Using these lovely new gems that are in the mini catalogue, and these are perfect because they're lovely ombre colours and you've got a lot of colours to choose from, and the other card I've used some of the pretty sequins. So there we have it, there's our cards for today under the theme monochromatic. I feel I cheated a little bit by adding a pop of colour, but I hope I can get away with that. Let me know which one is your favourite, whether you like the bumblebee yellow or the flirty flamingo pig. And as I said, please be sure to check out the other designers in the hop to see what they've come up with this fantastic theme of monochromatic. Thumbs up are always appreciated. Thank you for watching.